I've pinched it so that I can come and bring some thoughts with you. I am on the daily thought today. And some of you know that I am doing some more study again. I'm doing a leadership degree. And one of the readings that I've had to read is a book called Sacred Rhythms. And this book, I've quite enjoyed it. But why I've enjoyed it, I think, is more because of how we've had to engage with this time around COVID. And why it's interacted so well is because I think that the thing I've been noticing that people have had in this time is everyone's searching for a desire to find intimacy. And we've had to look and try and find different ways in how we're actually going to engage with intimacy. And this book that I've had to read in my reading, Sacred Rhythms, has been really great because it's helped facilitate an opportunity to come into a deeper intimacy with God. And some of the things that I've been able to do is use some of these ways I've been able to personally become more intimate with God and bring that to these people I've been interacting with. And so what we thought we'd do is I'd come along and share these thoughts about intimacy with you guys, and I'd like to go through, and my commitment to you is that I'll bring one thought a week regarding intimacy from this book, Sacred Rhythms, that I've been reading. So if you want to read it with me while we bring these talks, you can. I'll maybe put a post, you can message me regarding it, something like that. But the first part of this book, and the bit that really is the most important when it comes to sacred rhythms and spiritual disciplines and seeking intimacy with God, is it presents this idea that what do you want God to do for you? And we really need to, before we can even engage with some routine, some rhythms, some disciplines, some spiritual practices, before we do that, we actually ourselves have to figure out what is it even that we want from God? What is it that we want God to do for us? And you know, it takes this idea from Luke chapter 18, verse 35. It's a story of the blind man, and I want to read it with you or for you, however it is, but it's Luke 18, verse 35. And it says, this is the story of Jesus healing a blind man, right? And it says, as Jesus approached Jericho, a blind beggar was sitting beside the road. When he heard the noise of a crowd going past, he asked what was happening, and they told him that Jesus the Nazarene was going by. So he began shouting, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." "Be quiet," the people in front yelled at him. But he only shouted louder, "Son of David, have mercy on me." When Jesus heard him, he stopped and ordered that the man be brought to him. And as the man came near, Jesus asked him, "What do you want me to do for you?" Notice that there. What do you want me to do for you? "Lord," he said, "I want to see." And Jesus said, "All right, receive your sight. Your faith has healed you." And instantly the man could see, and he followed Jesus, praising God, and all who saw it praised God too. You know, it's not the only time in the Bible that is actually mentioned where God asks, "What do you want?" You know, in the Old Testament, when you think about it too, God says to Solomon, "What is it you want from me?" And Solomon responds in wisdom, because he doesn't want the kingdom that he's taking over from his father David to actually perish. And so quite often when we come into spiritual disciplines, and the reason it just becomes something that we do rather than something that actually helps form or shape us, is because we haven't figured out yet ourselves what is it we want God to do for us here. And I think underlying all of this, we have this idea that we can't actually ask God for something because actually we should be coming to God for what he has to give us. But he asks us, what does he want to do for us? And sometimes I think we worry about whether it's our selfishness, our greed, our pride, our humanity might come in and take over actually what might be a holy or right thing. But you know, what's really cool is if you look at the example where James and John in Mark come to Jesus and say, we want a place of honor at your seat in heaven. We want to be seated next to you. Jesus sees that and sees the ambition and the intent as greed and pride. And it's an opportunity for him to discipline and change our focus in actually how we are meant to see how we ask God for things. And so my encouragement for you for this week, and before we start doing some actual disciplines together, some spiritual disciplines to bring us into a deeper intimacy with God, is to actually figure out, God, what is it that I want to do, that I want you to do for me? So this week, my encouragement for you is, in your prayer time, to be really intentional in asking, God, if it's your will, I want this. And in this time, as we engage with our spiritual disciplines and our different ways of creating rhythm to develop intimacy, God's actually going to reveal to us whether it's our humanness or whether it's something that's actually going to cause delight and form us in a great way. So that's my daily thought for you. What do you want God to do for you? And